Altcoin season is not coming back, not the way you remember it. Bitcoin ETFs have broke the mechanism that made your bags pump, and most people still haven't accepted it. If you're sitting on your bags that are down 60, 70, 80, 90% and still telling yourself that maybe somehow alts will come back again near their all-time highs, then you need to hear this before you hold through another 6 months of nothing. I'm going to be explaining you the exact mechanism that broke the alt season, all of the data behind it, and what needs to happen for it to come back. So here we are on the holy grail of altcoins, the old playbook, and all of you have probably seen this image. Path to alt season, what happens, what needed to happen in the old times for altcoins to pump. Well, Bitcoin needs to run first, right? On this here we see that Bitcoin needs to move first, flow of money moves into Bitcoin, causing prices surge. Then basically Bitcoin stalls and money starts rotating into Ethereum. Then once Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, we hear talks of flipping, then we have a phase overlap, and then money starts flowing into large caps, and then from large caps we start flowing into the alt season. Alts go parabolic, dominance craters. That's basically it. That's the whole cycle. Happened in 2027, happened again in 2021. You watched it happen, you made money off of it, or you watched someone else make money off of it. Bitcoin dominance has been sitting stubbornly at 56 to 59% for over a year. Not a week, not a dip, a year of just sitting there refusing to move. Altcoin season index is ranging between 30 and 50, and you need it up around 75 before you're even talking about a real season. And it's nowhere close. And if you actually overlay total free against Bitcoin, they're basically moving in lockstep with each other, right? It's basically like looking at the same chart. There is no decoupling. There is no alts break away and start doing their own thing. It's just Bitcoin. So your bags aren't pumping because the capital isn't rotating like we see in this chart right here. So why? That's the actual question. Why is this not happening? Why is money not rotating? Well, very simply, spot Bitcoin ETFs. That's the whole answer that you have been looking for this video. And I know that sounds too simple, but sit with it for a second because it actually explains everything else in this video. New money, especially institutional stuff, the pension funds, the wealth managers, the boomer retirement accounts getting 2% crypto allocation because some advisor told them to. That money goes into a regulated Bitcoin product and it just sits there. It does not rotate. It does not diversify into some random altcoins. It's not going to go looking for the next 100x banger on some chain nobody has ever heard of. It bought the ticker Bitcoin. That's the full 2026 allocation of crypto done. It's never touching an altcoin ever. That was never even a possibility for that money to begin with. This is the first cycle where Bitcoin's had a real institutional infrastructure sitting underneath it like this. That's not a small detail that you can simply sweep under the rug, right? That changes the entire shape of how capital moves through this market now. Alts used to get fed by rotation, and now they're fighting over whatever retail money is left over and whatever narratives happen to be hot that week. And look at 2026 specifically. Bitcoin has been range bound, right? We see it here, we see it here. It's happening all over again here. It has corrected as well. It's done all the things that used to trigger a rotation into alts, and outside a couple hot narratives like meme coins or some speculative narratives like AI coins, basically whatever's trending, most alts have just kept lagging. Total free has been weak the entire time and it's been moving with Bitcoin, not against it. So you need to understand that what we had the previous years where Bitcoin corrects, where it ranges, and then alts go parabolic, it's not happening anymore. It won't be happening anymore. That ship has sailed. Now, I want to be clear about something because I don't think you're an idiot for believing in this. Every single cycle before this one trained you to accept the rotation. Someone in your group perhaps made thousands of dollars, bought the fucking supercar, or put down a house payment off of some alt that nobody has ever heard before. That's not something that's delusional, right? That was a real thing. But the structure underneath the market of how Bitcoin behaves, of how altcoins behave, it has fundamentally changed. A lot of people are still trading on the old structure without realizing that it's completely gone. Institutions don't chase 100 random mid caps looking for the next moonshot. That's not what they're built to do. That's not what their mandate is. They simply buy Bitcoin. Retail money that would have gone into a broad alt rally is fragmented now. It's chasing memes. It's chasing one area at a time instead of lifting the whole market together. Honestly, the closest thing that has happened from the last alt season that is similar to the all season we wish to have now was meme coins. And that space is honestly pretty much dead already. That's why Bitcoin finds support, stabilizes, does everything it's supposed to do to trigger the old playbook, and basically everybody's bags just sit there heavy doing nothing. The rotation you and we are waiting for needs dominance to break down below 50% and actually stay there. Plus, we need real liquidity coming back into the system, real risk appetite showing up, and demand for alts. None of that is happening in any meaningful way right now, not one piece of it. Holding through this while you wait for the old alt season to show up is how you people end up trapped in your bags for years. Not because you were wrong to hope, but because you simply never adapted to how the space has shifted. Now, does this mean alts are dead forever? No, I'm not saying that. And if anyone tells you that with total certainty, they're lying to you, or they're trying to farm your fear for views. But the broad, lazy, everything goes up together all season, the one where you could basically buy anything, any shit coin, whatever it was, and you still make money, that is probably not coming back. What's replacing it is a lot more selective. Money is going to actual projects with real users, real revenue, or a narrative strong enough to actually hold attention. Everything else just gets left behind. A lot of the smaller alts sitting in your wallet right now may never see their old highs again. I know that's not what you want to hear, but the market is starting to look a lot more like stock picking than the casino style spray and pray rotation you got used to. If dominance eventually does roll over and liquidity actually improves, sure, you could see real pockets of strength, but sitting around expecting the alt everything pumps all season on something that's like a planned schedule is just setting yourself up to be disappointed again, the same way you probably have already been for the last year. So what do you actually do to this? Well, stop treating all season like a guaranteed event that's circled on a calendar somewhere. Go back for what you're actually holding and ask if it has a real fundamentals or real narrative behind it. Not just it'll pump when dominance drops or when more liquidity shows up or when macro conditions improve or any other sort of bullshit. Because even dominance dropping is not even the mechanism that is what it was previous years ago. Ask yourself honestly whether your capital is better sitting in Bitcoin right now or concentrated in a handful of things you actually have conviction in, instead of spread across 20 bags hoping one of them turns into the miracle. The market has really changed. It's not coming back to the old version. The faster you actually accept it, that instead of holding onto the old playbook out of habit, the faster you can position for whatever actually is coming next instead of what is never probably going to be showing up again.